maybe we'll do a round of introductions, although I know we're waiting for Casey Becker, the regional administrator. So we'll wait till she's on. She's joining by Zoom, correct?
No, she's here.
Oh, she's here.
Yeah.
In person.
In the bathroom. I thought she was gonna be here.
Oh, I thought she was, you said here, and I assumed on Zoom because I knew she had a day worth of meetings, and I didn't realize.
No, here in person.
So, Beth, will you make her a meeting and I'll give you one? Yes. That's so great. Here you go. I need these that can be made. And one that we can do, yeah. And so here's some extra chairs. Do you have a?
I do not.
We will, let's see, where is there? Maybe, if you switch over a little bit. And here, I'll put keep it here. Hi, how are you? We're glad you're here. All right, so we are going to start on time. And I think, Casey, you're here for 20 minutes. Yeah. Okay. Great. Okay, welcome everyone to the April CAG meeting. And welcome to folks on Zoom and people in the room, and we have extra chairs, so we'll just keep expanding as we need. So maybe before we go through the agenda, we will do a quick round of introductions, and I'll just give you the highlights of what we're doing tonight. Actually, but real quick, let me actually do that right now. So we're gonna do, we're gonna hear from Casey Becker, and we're gonna have a little conversation with you. And then we'll hear about what's happening with the residential cleanup and sampling. We'll hear about what's happening with the 2. We'll talk a bit about revitalization and the EPA environmental justice grants and some of the work that's being done locally here on that. I think we're going to hear from David Dorian online, correct?
Still pending.
Still pending. Okay, well, stay tuned. And then we'll have time for announcements at the end. So that's the gist. And maybe we'll start with Vanessa and just do a quick round of brief intros, and although I think CDPHE and EPA are going to do group intros, so feel free to.
Hi everyone, my name is Vanessa. I'm with CDPHE, and it looks like Renee Cortez is also online with CDPHE as well.
Perfect. Hey, Renee.
My name is Honor Morgan. I'm a CAC with EPA.
And I'm going to introduce the rest of the EPA folks. My name is Beth Archer. I'm Community Involvement Coordinator with EPA. And just reminding folks that we are recording this meeting tonight. So if you're attending in person or online, we will be recording the meeting and capture your face, your voice, your likeness, and what you post to YouTube. If you have any comments that you don't want to share verbally, you're welcome to text them to me or Ryan. Cindy Chan is one of our project managers for the Superfund site. Next to her, we've got Charles Von Otten, who previously was a CIC and is now a special assistant with EPA. We also have Casey Becker, who's our regional administrator with us tonight. I'm also going to introduce Jamie, who is online. She is the manager for our remedial project manager, and many of you may remember her as a former remedial project manager. And Treat is our contractor CEO, who is with the Technical Assistance Services for Communities. And just to remind people again, since I'm in the room, please speak up, especially call for the owl, so that folks online can hear us really clearly. We've got 2 of them, so we should be covered.
Oh, it's actually the only one.
Oh, just kidding. We have 1, so speak extra loud.
And tacking on that, folks online, if you can't hear, please put a note in the chat.
I checked the website, they said it's not good.
Oh, awesome. Okay, great.
Harry Vanderbuck, property owner, community member.
Terry Hart, former county commissioner and member of CAG.
Ryan Bolton, CAG facilitator with the community, with the Community Building Institute.
Paul Renfrey, resident and the owner of the Grove and CAG member.
Jimmy Duffner, Project Apollo, Street Medicine.
I'm Aaron Martinez, Public Department, Public Health and Environment, support the EPA's efforts in blood testing and also look for other sources of lead in the neighborhood. And I have Mom Dragon up there, and got Tony and Taylor. We're all with the health department.
The crew.
I'm Renee Martinez, Regional Director, Senator Martha Bennett.
Renee, it's very nice to see you. You have a name tent over there if you want. What? It's fine. So let's go to the folks online. Renee Cortez, I know we introduced you, but how about Leah? And Jamie, we got you. So I think it's just Leah.
Yeah, Leah Gradaman with CSUP, studying the effects of the Superfund remediation.
Well, thanks everybody. And I think with that, I just, a reminder, it's so appreciated that people are, you know, don't pull their punches on the issues and are straight on the issues and go easy on the people and not personalized. And it's really appreciated to have that happen. And just to say, you know, thanks for everyone making an effort to be here in person for the quarterly meeting. I know it means a lot, and it really is a different thing to be together in person. So thank you for making that effort for those who could. And we appreciate those of you on the phone as well. So with that, I think I'll turn to you or you to, Casey, if you want to just.
Yeah, remind me your name, is it Ryan?
Ryan.
Okay, yeah, great. So, hi everyone again, Casey Becker, I'm the administrator for EPA Region 8. Region 8 is Colorado, Utah, Wyoming, Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, and 28 tribal nations. So I oversee all of EPA's activities in those states. And this is not the first time that I have engaged with the CAG. It was really early on when I started. So I am appointed by the administration. I started in November of 2021, and attending a CAG meeting online was one of the first things I did. And then came down and met with you, Terry, and others. I feel like that was maybe not quite 2 years ago, because sort of people were meeting again because it was post-COVID. But anyway, there's a lot going on, and part of my job is because of President Biden's bipartisan infrastructure law and the Inflation Reduction Act. My job is really making sure that those pieces of legislation really get implemented in in this region. And Pueblo and this project, this Superfund site, have benefited from that. You know, about 2 years ago, because the bipartisan infrastructure law, new money came in to accelerate some of the cleanups. There's also been money from the bipartisan infrastructure law to do brownfields, technical assessments to redevelop properties in Pueblo. So there's really a lot going on. I think that is very exciting. More recently, as you guys know, the EPA, after a pretty long review, revised lead screening levels. That's a national national guidance that says we used to screen at about 400 parts per million. Now we're screening depending on the property at 200 or 100. So screening level, and these guys, I'm sure, are going to get into it, not the same as the cleanup level. Region 8 really is out in front of all the regions in determining our protocol, our priorities for applying this new guidance. And a lot of the other regions are actually looking to us. So we are, you know, figuring out our priorities. Pueblo is, and the Colorado Smelter site is a priority for us. It has been. I think there are a lot of other places that are envious to say, God, you guys have really cleaned up a lot in a short time. So, you know, that's because of the partnership that EPA has with the CAG and the city. So, you know, they'll be talking more about that, but I do think that there's good progress being made. On this visit, I did a site tour, met with the mayor, and then tomorrow Charles and I are going down to San Luis to see a brownfields project, and then, but also here to, you know, answer any questions, be available for a little bit if you guys, anything you want to raise with me. Yes.
Is this lead screen or lead and arsenic?
It's lead, but I don't know if there's anything arsenic.
So throughout the Superfund site, we are looking at lead and arsenic, but the recent guidance change has specifically been for lead and lowering the screening level for that. So it doesn't mean we're not looking for arsenic, but that level is going to stay the same.
Thank you.
And Ginny, we talked about this since the last meeting. I took notes, and there's a summary on the back table, so I can get that to you afterwards, and it'll give you a bit more information about what EPA should have done.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm just curious of what areas are being considered for the brownfield research.
You know, it really, lots of, so those are, there are competitive grants, and then there's just non-competitive technical assistance that's available. And so it really is up to community, a city, a property owner to say, I want to have an assessment done. Typically, you can't spend brownfields dollars within the boundary of the Superfund site. They're the brownfields, and if folks aren't familiar with brownfields, it's you know, any property that has contamination or the perception of contamination can come to EPA for a variety of different programs, but to get an assessment, to apply for a grant for cleanup, you know, sometimes it can be things like cleaning up asbestos or cleaning up a old gas station, things like that, where there's contamination present that doesn't rise to the level of the Superfund site. So it's a complement to Superfund. It's not, it doesn't necessarily overlap. But you know, I have a list in here, but you know, projects that you guys are probably familiar with, like the heating school is one of them. I think they got like $1 million to do cleanup. Black Hills Power Plant, 72,000 for planning funds. Span Elementary School to do an assessment. So it really is up to the city or county working with the property developer or property owner.
More community-wide rather than the Superfund site.
It's usually site-specific, but outside the boundaries of the Superfund site. And there can be, you know, Beth and anyone else who wants to like chime in. If there's a different contaminant of concern for the brown, then that's where you could potentially use brownfields money on a Superfund site if it's not part of the existing Superfund investigation. Yeah.
Other questions, things to share with Casey, observations or questions?
Well, first of all, Casey, thank you so much for being here. We know that we're high on the radar screen, and we appreciate it. And when you come to town, we definitely know that. So very much appreciated. It sounds to me like we're meeting a lot of good folks, and that's really critically important. One of the things that we're struggling with, and frankly, it's a local issue that we're trying to figure out how to get around, is getting basically the leadership to actually go after some of these funds that are available.
People can hear, maybe speak up this hat.
Oh, okay. Oh, really? I'm usually that's the opposite. So, but yeah, trying to figure out how to, you know, from a coordinated basis, basically say, okay, these are the kind of things that we would like to get done, because what we're doing is we're getting a lot of really good information from EPA Region 8 saying these are the kind of grant monies that are out there, but we haven't been able to, at least my perspective so far, we haven't been able to actually rally the troops around and say, here's what we need, let's go after these. One of the things we suffered from in the past, we didn't have the expertise to write some of the grants. I think that we may have gotten around that now. Because I know the city has a grant writer, the county through the Council of Governments has a grant writer as well. And so I think that we can get around that. But
What cause covers Pueblo?
is what?
What Council of Governments covers?
Pueblo Area Council of Governments, yeah. And I actually tell you the truth, I think it might be a grant funded position.
Okay.
To tell you the truth, because it was after I left the county. And I know that we were talking about it, and then we actually just had a Council of Governments meeting, meeting just last week, and there was a presentation by the individual that has that position.
So one thing I'll mention here is, it's funny that you mentioned the COGS, because today I was talking with my chief of staff about how we need to do some outreach with the COGS, but because of President Biden's Inflation Reduction Act, there's an unprecedented amount of money available to communities and nonprofits. So local governments, including cities and counties, and then nonprofits, so not available to the state, for environmental justice grants. So in the past, Region 8 might have $100,000 a year. Right now, until November 21st, there is 1.8 billion, that's with a B, available to communities for a huge range of projects. It can be a brownfields project. It could be, you know, solid waste cleanup. Solid waste is a fancy word for trash. It could be air monitoring, you name it, but you do have to apply for the grant. And part of our challenge is getting the word out to local governments that this money is available. It's only available to apply until November 21st. And really the range of opportunities is huge. So if it's something that you're interested in, if you can't get your government to do it, it's available for nonprofits as well. The challenge often is that there's, you know, it's hard to write a government grant. And so the other thing that's exciting is with the Inflation Reduction Act, one thing that EPA did is create what we call TIC-TACs in each region. And a TIC-TAC is Thriving Community Technical Assistance Center. So a technical assistance center is available to nonprofits and local governments to provide assistance on applying for grants. And it can be an EPA grant, a Department of Energy grant, it can be a state grant. But what they have is a network of largely, I mean, it's universities, it's former EPA employees who are now volunteers or are getting paid to help with this work. For Region 8, our TIC-TAC is based out of Montana State University, and they've partnered with universities in every state in Region 8. In Colorado, it's Colorado State University. And they were awarded this in January, so they're really just getting, you know, sort of get going. But they are a great entity to reach out to. And at CSU, it's the Environmental Justice Center. And they, you know, I shouldn't send people to them too quickly, but, you know, in another few weeks, they are going to be available to nonprofits and local governments to provide assistance to, you know, work on grants. They can't write the grant for you, but they can help. So I would say, you know, again, this is a limited window when unprecedented amounts of money is available to help communities deal with pollution in one way or the other. You know, land, air, water. And you can work with the TIC-TAC. You can go on their website. You can also go on, while Montana State University is getting set up, the other one that's working in our region is ICMA. ICMA is the International City and County Managers Association. And they have a website where they have an intake form. And that intake form is just a blank space where you can say, I'm requesting technical assistance, and then they will get back to you and they will try and help. So we can't help a nonprofit in particular. We can't show favoritism. You know, we can't, we can only lead the horse to the water, and that's it. We can't make you drink. We can't tell you if it's good or bad water. So I think that there's lots of opportunities right now, and things that won't be around forever. There's also, the last thing I will mention is, without applying for a grant, there's, oh my gosh, maybe Honor, one of you guys knows, I think it's called the Environmental Justice Technical Assistance. It's not a grant, it's just technical assistance, where you're not applying for a grant, but you can get help on a project. And I would have to defer to the right people to get you the information. So if you were interested, you could, you know, reach out to any of these guys and they will get you that contact for technical assistance.
It's like phone a friend kind of.
It's like a phone a friend. So there's just lots of opportunities right now.
Well, and thank you for that. That's one of the things that I'm hoping that we're doing. I didn't know if anybody had talked to you about that, about connecting up everybody, but I'm hoping that this group can ultimately kind of drive some leadership to work with the city, the county, nonprofits, whoever, to identify all of the potential needs, because you're hitting the nail on the head. Once in a lifetime, once in a generation, opportunity. And I'm extremely worried that if we're not organized, we will not get the amount of money in town we're looking for, so.
Yeah, it's not gonna be available after November 21st.
And it has been a topic of conversation at this CAG for the last couple months, and I know that Aaron and others, maybe from PGT, are gonna talk a little bit about what's been done later in this week. I also know that Velma Campbell has her hand up, and Velma, we did a round of introductions. You probably gathered that Casey Becker is here, the regional administrator from EPA. And we would love to hear your question, and would you introduce yourself? And my apologies if I was weird ambiguous on my email.
Oh, I'm sorry. I had two factors. I had meetings that got out only a very short time before this meeting, and then I also had misread the email and thought this was one of our virtual months, and so I didn't have everything lined up to just pick up and run out of the house and zoom down Northern Avenue without missing a significant part of Director Becker's presentation. And it's nice to see you again. And thank you for being here. I'm sure the rest of the group has thanked you already, but I wanted to say so. The volunteer organization that I work with has worked on some of the community organization related environmental justice grants. Some of them have worked out and some not, but that's the way it is with grants. But there certainly are a lot of opportunities available right now. And so I agree with Terry, it would be, and anybody else that I missed saying it would be too bad if our community missed out on those opportunities. So I'm wondering if CAG member organizations or the CAG itself might be able to get together with other nonprofit organizations and maybe have a conference with someone about what those grant opportunities are, what kind of opportunities are available.
Velma, I am sorry to cut you off. I promised I would let Casey Becker lead for another meeting, but I also want to say, Velma, that you're previewing a topic that we're going to come to in like an hour, half an hour exactly. So I think you and Terry have led us to that topic. So hold that if you will.
And Velma, you made me realize that, I talked about the community change grants, which are open till November 21st. The opportunity that you might end up being more interested in, the other thing that EPA created under the Inflation Reduction Act is a different grant called the Grant Maker Grant. And that is a grant that is $50 million. There's one in each region. Our region is going to this organization called JSI, and then they sub-grant it to other entities that apply to them. So they have, of the 50 million, they'll be sub-granting $40 million within Region 8. Those are smaller grants. Those are, $80,000 to $120,000. But they're much easier for organizations and local governments to apply for, because since they are the grantee, they have to do all the heavy lifting on the grant, and the sub-grants that they award are smaller amounts, but a much lower bar to comply. So that is called the Grant Maker Grant. It is, JSI is just staffing up and will sort of open up their services in the next couple months. So I think that is a much easier one, more manageable. So what I'd say is, if you all decide what your priorities are, figure out if it fits within the community change grant, which is a bigger amount, bigger burden, or the grant maker grant. Grant maker will be available for a longer time too. They will have, I think they have 4 or 5 years to grant out their $40 million in these, $100,000 chunks. So I think that these are incredible opportunities. Part of my job is to tell CAGs and other groups such as yourselves about these opportunities. I think they have the opportunity to really, reduce pollution burdens in low income or, overburdened communities. And I think Pueblo fits in that category of overburdened with pollution. So I hope you guys spend some time in the next, few months really figuring out what your best opportunity is, what you would want to go for. Okay. With that, I think we might be taking off. If there's any other questions for me, I'm happy to stick around for another minute or two.
Any other final comments, questions?
We did, Sydney and Beth gave Charles and me a tour today.
It was like the same one that y'all did, but less into OU2, like we just kind of
Did you
get
see
some behind
OU2 from that?
Yeah, we went in through Benedict Park and saw like the initial right there, and then went around through Ryder and got to see like the old stops and the roll off that's there.
Did they ever do the eviction out of there or whatever? I heard they were supposed to
much like
2 Wednesdays ago and then last Wednesday, whatever.
I don't think they're gonna do that.
I heard somebody was, I just heard something that they were warning some of the groups around town that they were talking about rousting them all out of there like they've been doing on Fountain Creek periodically.
Was that the city that was gonna do that, or no?
I think it was Posada, it was somebody that worked for Posada that I heard the rumor through, but yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a people call up on it.
Well, we are very glad that you were here. Thank you.
Thanks everyone for letting me drop in, and thanks for all the work that you put into this, because it helps make better places.
Okay. Thank you. That's drastically. And good luck, Charles.
Thanks. Good to see everybody again.
Good to see you. Bye.
Thank you. Yeah, appreciate it.
All right, well, I think, Beth, are we turning to you?
You are.
All right, so you're gonna give us some updates.
Yes, very excited. Y'all love hearing me read out percentage numbers.
Well,
I
and
know it's your
also-
favorite part of the meeting. It's so exciting.
Just a reminder that we do have these printed out this time, and there's like 10 of them, so here, Paul, you can have this. Share, you may need to share, but this is a bit more,
Yeah.
right, okay, this is what you're talking about.
Yes, yeah, and I guess a question to like y'all, since I do send this out every month, if you want me to like make a little pie chart that has the exact numbers that I read out, I can put that in there. It's not that much work. I actually here.
I did the update last time. I just did like a very basic thing, and I forgot to tell you that.
Oh, that's fine. Okay, great. Well,
I forgot to
So,
share that.
so for folks on Zoom, Sydney was just reminding Beth that when Beth was out on assignment, Sydney had shared something on video during one of our Zoom meetings, and you all, tag members, said that you really appreciated it and liked it. So Beth, she's gonna pass that on to Beth, starting to the next.
That was definitely on me. I apologize for not telling her that was a good presentation. It like literally clicked as she said that right now. I was like, definitely.
You're like, oh, that's good.
Okay,
So-
duly noted.
Yeah, but with that in mind, this tag update that we send out every month is supposed to be for y'all, it's supposed to be helpful. We've been doing this project for years, as you know, and I think the project has developed slightly, so if we're giving you information that is not as helpful every month, or you want to see different graphics, like, this is not at all set in stone. I inherited this format, and I'm happy to change it and make it what y'all need. So I'll look at what we had last month and make sure that we do that. But diving into the numbers, soil sampling, we are not expecting any additional soil sampling, so we are set at 96% of the study area that has been sampled. I don't expect or I think it's actually 97 if we round up, so pretty good. On dust sampling, we are at 86%, and we do still expect to do more dust sampling. We are having our contractor PWP send out a stern letter that's like, hey, if you don't sign up, there could be ramifications. Please sign up. It's really the time. So that's going to be going out by certified mail this month. So we're hoping to see a couple more people sign up to let us do that indoor dust sampling. And then moving over to soil cleanups, we are looking, or actually, sorry, jumping back to soil sampling, I think it was. Is that the one that we could change with the ownership change? So I think this was still something that was a little bit new. If y'all look in the update for this month, I believe we had one more soil sampling property, which was unusual. Yeah, so you see for March, we had one residential soil property sampled. Sabrina made the call that if properties have changed hands, we still have scope within a sampling contract. And so if someone comes in and is like, hey, I didn't get this sample, they didn't tell me, can you sample my property? We're still able to do that. So it's like on a very like as needed basis. It's not like we're going back out and re-announcing last call, but that number might change slightly, but not tremendously. And then on soil cleanup, we expect that we finish the majority of those cleanup with the current cleanup level, which we all know may adjust, but right now we're at 93% for those. And on dust cleanups, we're still actively doing dust cleanups, and we will be sending out a letter to property owners probably May, June, similarly saying, hey, you really should sign up, please let us do this. So we're at 74% for dust cleanups, which as expected, people are not always super eager to let us into their houses to do cleanup. So that's been the one that's been lagging, but we are really ramping that up and trying to get as many people as possible on that front. Any questions on the residential updates? Yes, Terry.
Real quick, since we have new administration on the city level,
yeah,
and I know that we had had the previous mayor do some PSAs and things like that to try to connect. I don't know if it would help or not, but I was curious if you're exploring the same kind of things with our new mayor.
That's a great idea. We actually have not talked about that. We did meet with the mayor in February on the 15th, and they did, and that's one of my updates for later, but we talked about it now. They did discuss delegating someone from city council to represent them on the CAG. So that's something we're hoping to have a little bit more city involvement here. But I will reach out to the mayor and see if she's interested in doing a PSA. Right now, what I would envision would be a PSA on the dust side of things for either dust sampling or cleanup. And if we get a new cleanup level, which we may, then that would be an awesome time to use a PSA from the mayor's office to really let people know.
You never know. Sometimes the same message from a different person might strike home, and you never know.
And I feel like we talked about that in like our last call discussion, and it's true. Like coming from EPA,
yep,
it's received differently. So I think that's a really good call.
Could you repeat what you said to us on what you suggested?
What was being suggested, Wilma, was remember how the Mayor Gadazar did a PSA way back when to urge people on last call. Terry's suggestion was to do that again with the new administration. And Beth said that yes, indeed, that they met with the new administration last month, but we'll absolutely reiterate that message. And it especially so if there's a new lead cleanup level, but even without it, that it really makes a difference to hear from the local city leadership. And also, did you hear Beth's reply?
Oh, I thought I was so loud.
Not much.
A
little partially.
She was double thumbs up. And someone from the mayor's office they're talking about having someone from the mayor's office represent them in the CAG process, which would be great, because I know you all are really eager to the city leadership more involved.
Yeah, I agree. We used to have more of the city officials participating, and I think that really did help communication. At least sometimes. And I think our new, we have a lot of new city council members also who are not necessarily familiar with either the history or the process. Some of them are. I remember Roger Gomez, who represents me now, participated in some of the earlier meetings before the decision was made to go ahead with the Superfund site. but I'm not sure that Roger's kept up with it since that time. So,
Thanks, Velva. And when we did present to city council in February, both Joe Latino and Roger Gomez were asking some good questions. And I don't think it might not be directly from the mayor's office who will represent on site, but I believe it's going to be someone from city council. That's what we heard at the last meeting with them. You had a question?
Yeah, just if you end up reevaluating the numbers and have to come back and clean up some more properties, would that also then change your Superfund boundary area?
We don't think so. That's a good question. Since we have looked at that boundary area and we have multiple lines of evidence, as we like to say, so we've looked at it for various different angles and we feel confident that that's a good boundary. And it's a little like fuzzy between Superfund lead and other sources of lead, so that we feel good about the boundary, but so we're just gonna be focusing on that universe of like 2,000 approximately properties. Yeah. And we do have an agenda item that I'm gonna flag y'all later on to talk about if the cleanup level changes, how we can best communicate to folks, because I really want your feedback on that, because that is gonna be a big push to get more people to participate.
Just a quick question, following up on what Casey was answering the question about brownfields. Have we come across in the various types of testing that we've done, other constituents that are technically outside of what we're doing here, not lead or arsenic, but there are other pollutant constituents that might be something we should consider under a roundtable or under a brownfield kind of approach?
I'm not aware of anything specifically. I know, so I will say that there have been, so we have a site assessment team that's part of Superfund, and they've come out and studied a couple of different areas. I know that there was one that was like a dumping ground that we looked at, and there was the one that the team brought up last time was like a cap. Remember that, the rock wool?
Yeah.
Yes.
Rock
I know, like, there have been some areas, and probably not within the Superfund site, that we have looked at through the site assessment team, and those ones might be perfect examples for brownfields, because they didn't rank high enough to be cleaned up under Superfund, but there were still some constituents there that brownfields could be used. I know there's a brownfield site by my house, they made a target there, because it used to be contaminated, and then they redeveloped it.
One of the reasons why.
Yeah, that's a perfect example.
Yeah.
One of the reasons why I wanted to ask is I thought that was the initial things we'd heard back on the tests that were being done at Reunión Field was because there is a good deal of railroad activity on the northern track there, that there were constituents being pulled out that could be problematic, but they were not in the arena of what we're trying to do under the Superfund site. So that was the reason why it kind of popped into my mind.
I think like an important part that Casey might not have mentioned is that with brownfields, there has to be someone that's like willing to do that cleanup and redevelop the property into something else. It's
You
not
have to be
just like,
incentivized.
yeah, like how Superfund, we just come in and we'll clean it up and it doesn't matter like.
So we can get that together in 6 months?
I don't know.
You tell me.
I think we could probably apply for it.
We've been working on something special for a long time, and it all got pretty well taken away from us. So
That's
if
true.
they would have been all that, well, we don't have money, when will we ever have money? If we would have just, if everyone would have followed through.
It's been on the radar screen for types of redevelopment that would, it's a mixture that's been discussed that I know of over the last 20 years or so of recreational opportunities intermixed with potential residential commercial activities. The Reunión Field area up into the Rockwool site and trying to bring into the loop Santa Fe and then Santa Fe Drive when it goes out to St. Charles Mesa. That entire area has been quite a bit of conversation. Is there a specific plan today? I don't think so, other than the ones we did when I was in office, and that was recreationally driven.
Yeah, and I don't think it doesn't have to necessarily be like commercial put on top of it. Like recreation could be a use of it. Like in Atlanta, we had a huge mill that turned into a brownfield, and now it's like shopping and a park. But there was like an investor that wanted to change it over, and I think that was kind of an important thing that needed to be stated, because it's not like when we come in and we clean it up, and it doesn't matter if someone's gonna reuse this or not, like we're coming in, brownfields is a little more of a niche thing.
So you guys, I saw Aaron, did your hand go down? Aaron, did you want to say something? And I saw Velma and Jimmy, did you want to turn? So Aaron, do you want to go?
Yeah, I mean, just on the brownfield portion of it, there's plenty of projects that we need to clean up around Pueblo. We have a slag pile that is in Salt Creek, the electric arc furnace slag, huge amount of slag in the creek, and it goes right into Salt Creek. That's been there for years and years. We found out this weekend, Bessemer Ditch goes right through Everett, had a huge industrial fire there, and with that fire, that ditch water goes to St. Charles Mesa. And so there's no protection on that. So who knows how much contamination gets blown into that over time. But with firefighting efforts, we had to make sure that it was firmed and protected. I mean, that thing should be covered. I mean, that should not be exposed to industrial heavy activity. The diesel plume that we have going on underneath Grove, I mean, that's something that is getting, bounce back and forth, and nothing's happening with that. I don't see it happening. And so, I mean, there are so many things, and I'm so frustrated. So, I have to keep my mouth shut when Casey was here, because I mean, it's awesome that they're giving out this kind of money, but $10 to $20 million, and that's the bottom, is $10 million. Our budget for the health department is $8 million. There's no way we can handle that kind of money. And so we went with the city, trying to work with the city on putting the project together. It turns out we don't qualify as a CDO in partnership with the city, so they're going to have to go find community-based partners to work with. We did put a project forward. Des is working on, real concern on the OD2. And so we wanted to, expand rescue mission. They pretty much have a whole block right now since they purchased some other land and build a campus there. That way it's, housing for, they can have families, they can have individual treatment. Well, let me just,
I'm 2 doors down from there. They don't even take care of what they got. They run out of funding every year.
So let me just finish what the plan was, is because they want to enforce, this camping ban. And so it's like, well, we need a place for people. If you're gonna move them somewhere, where you're gonna, what's gonna happen? So anyway, and then we talked about going to the east side and helping with SPAM, demoing that building, putting portable housing up on their campus, and getting that going with the city. That would cover $20 million. You can have a $10 million building and a $10 million building on the other side. That got shut down in like 10 seconds. They didn't even want to entertain that. And so, yeah.
Well, it's because nobody wants it in their neighborhood.
Well, hang on,
Nobody's gonna work with it.
I wanna
Doesn't even have a neighborhood.
I want to make sure we have time for Velma too. But, so Aaron, obviously, we're gonna come to this whole topic of these EJ grants because they are so tough, for the reasons that you're talking about now.
I'm just saying, with all this money is gonna be for naught. So there, people can't get on the same page. City has their own projects that they want to do. They're just dredging Minnequa Lake. There's got to be one that they put.
This is the problem.
Yeah.
And I think, so in terms of, knowing that we're gonna come back hopefully to the EJ grant piece, but it seems like the point also that you're making is just back to this question of like other contaminants. There's so much need. There's so much need,
and then the EPA expects us to put together a plan in 6 months, and then you have to have it spent in 3 years. How the hell do you do that? That's the amount of money in 3 years. It's mind-boggling.
Where's that money go if they don't
So
spend it?
well, hang on a minute, 'cause
Put your card up.
you guys, so first of all, here, Sydney, sorry, I'm out of time. So first of all, make sure you figure your part out because we've Velma and Jimmy both waiting to talk. But also, let's come back to the EJ grants because it's on the agenda and I want to make sure we stay focused on this piece about, because I want to make sure we hear updates. I think point well taken that there's a lot of need and that there's some other questions here that for this point. I tried to get some of them down. Velma, let's go to you and then Jimmy. I can't remember who first.
I think it was on.
Okay, Velma, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Two questions. One is, thinking about, and I couldn't quite hear the previous, the question a couple of questions ago about, I think it was Terry asking about other compounds or metals. And that reminded me that I've been wanting to ask because, and this is really an OU2 question, so if it comes up later, feel free to tell me, but because OU2 is largely the actual slag pile, what has the previous testing told us about whether there are other hazardous metals or compounds in that slag pile that might be more significant and affect the cleanup plan than were found in the testing of the residential yards? And then my second question is, if a site, I've been told, and I think it's true, that a site can't be simultaneously a Superfund site and a brownfield site. But if a site is a Superfund site and Superfund completes its work, but there are residual materials that come from another industry, can that site be the subject of a brownfield grant on the basis of the industries that were not included in the Superfund site?
Multiple people are nodding yes.
Yeah, I can both of those really quickly. So Velma, in terms of the slag has been tested and we've also done bioavailability on it. There are other metals present in the slag, but they are bound within the slag. So unless the slag is like broken up and ground and turned into dust, then they're bound and it's okay. So we will handle slag as hazardous waste, right? In the same manner that we do when we're moving the lead and arsenic. It'll get tested and make sure that it's put in the appropriate landfill and not, disturbed as minimally as possible, and to not break off into smaller pieces that can then be incidental ingestion and incidental contact. In terms of the Superfund and brownfield, I think in theory, yes. So the whole thing with brownfields is that within a Superfund boundary, which is why I think the questions have arose, is that it needs to clearly be a different source of contamination from what we're looking at now, right? So our source now is the Colorado Smelter, the smokestacks, what was emitted from them. If for some reason there's, out of the blue, like cobalt or, some other type of heavy metal that has nothing to do with the smelters that was found within the boundaries and doesn't rise to a Superfund cleanup level, but does still need a cleanup, and there's someone interested in redeveloping it, it could still go into the brownfield program. Yes.
Yeah, so just quick follow-up on the slag question. And part of this is me not being able to be there in person, which I apologize again for, but so did I understand you correctly to say that the materials in the slag pile will be removed, but they be removed in such a way that they wouldn't be broken up or generate dust? Is that what you're saying?
That's the idea, that we don't, anything that's within the slag, we're trying to keep in its current structure.
I can't understand you, I'm sorry.
Yes, that we would try and not break up the slag.
Yeah, because obviously it's out there in the weather, it's weathering and deteriorating. And so it's not holding together, but at any rate, be that as may, I'll leave off. Thanks.
I just want to add one thing. So I've hung out with enough lawyers that I just want to say, like, we're talking about a hypothetical cleanup. Hypothetically, this is very pre-decisional. We haven't reached a decision yet. I just want to be really
You said
clear.
you're gonna remove it.
And then Eric's like, all right, they're gonna take it out. I heard him say it. It's on there.
Right.
So I just want to
No,
clarify that, like,
I understand. I guess that was part of what I was asking about. I mean, obviously, if it remains there, it's gonna continue to deteriorate and break down, and the materials that are currently bound will become or could become unbound. So I understand that's an ongoing consideration. So thanks.
So if I might, Sydney, just as a follow-up to Velma's, to ask you to maybe speak to what she's talking about in terms of erosion and bioavailability, because I think, Velma, what Sydney's talking about is, say for some reason they decide to move this slag, they're gonna be careful with it and treat it and pay attention to what's happening. But I think that they can also speak to whether or not there's concerns about the general erosion and things that are happening, because I don't think they're seeing that there. But
We're not, yeah.
I think Sydney can probably clarify.
I think that's a good clarification. So we're not seeing we're not seeing added contamination happening because of the slag eroding, right? So I think that was part of the concern. And if and when we do get to a proposed plan and what will happen with OU2 is when we'll get down into the details of how we'll be handling the slag on OU2's property.
Can I say something real quick? We can totally wrap this up, but if this needs to be a longer topic, which it might, if folks are interested on the tag and exploring this a little more, we can make it its own agenda topic and ask to have a, so just a sec, but go ahead.
Yeah, so the only other thing I would say, Velma, is we see a lot of slag piles and a lot of other sites, especially in Region 8. And for, like, up in Leadville, for example, some of them, they decided to leave because they wanted the historical perspective of that slag. It's part of the mining history. And so they've done testing and they know when there's issues and when there's not. So
it's like 20 times larger than this one too.
Right,
Maybe
right.
100 times larger. No, I mean, it's a mountain. I mean, this is a hill, that's a mountain.
yeah, but they have, like, if you've done the Leadville Trail, they have actual piles along.
Oh, yeah, no, I've seen, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think I saw a question from Velma online asking, we're not seeing what type of contamination, and it sounded like it was not seeing contamination from, like, degrading.
Yes, yes.
And I will say, Velma, it's contamination from degrading. Sorry, I'm trying to speak right at the owl. Could you hear that?
No.
Loud as I can. We're not seeing contamination from the OU2 slag degrading.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, sorry.
Okay. Jimmy, yes.
Yes, is there a way that we can get a list of the contaminants in the different slag compositions in Pueblo? And I would like to thank Aaron Martinez. He's a very hardworking man who is very involved in our community and works tirelessly in commission meetings and every meeting I can imagine he has attended. And numbers,
Anything done?
don't you ever give up, Aaron. Don't you ever give up.
Nobody listens.
But my main question is, have we sampled the Runyon Lake area and the railroad track that divides Runyon Lake into two parts?
What about it?
I'm sorry.
So the questions for EPA were, from Jimmy, were, have we sampled, can we get a list of the different contaminants? Especially around slag, and has Runyon Lake and sample, including the
The
railroad
railroad
track?
track that goes through Runyon Lake.
Okay, so the first one on the slag, I know that we know a lot about the slag in the Superfund site from the Colorado Smelter, because that's what this is focused on. We also know a good amount about the electric arc furnace slag that comes from the steel mill, so I know that we have information on those two types of slag. There were I think there were like 5 other historic smelters that existed in Pueblo back 100 years ago. I don't know that we have a ton of information on those types of slag, but the two that that we have lists of contaminants, I can definitely get those to you easily. on Reunión Lake, I know that we have been doing sampling in OU2 by Reunión Lake. I don't know offhand about near the railroad. I don't know if we could.
We can look that up and get back to you. I know that railroads have a 15-foot easement on each side, so we can only get so close to the tracks. But we have been sampling around there. I can see we can work with Task we are working to get like maps made for y'all, because I know that's something you guys always like to do. We're still in the process of testing that area. But we can look, I can look and see at least what the sampling points are and see if we can get a map produced to show you guys what's been done thus far.
Well, I see it in the area outlined with your map here, and I don't see any information with red, blue, yellow, or any of the indicators on the map.
Yeah, so that map is just showing the residential properties, and Reunión is gonna be within like a different section of it, so we can work to see if we can get a map similar that at least shows like where we sample.
So we already, so this is kind of leading into something that I was gonna talk about, and then Erin can go next. We have been working on this tool that we call a story map. It's like a website that's supposed to be more user-friendly than the current EPA website. Y'all have seen it, it's very ugly. I can't change it. But with the story map, it's a little bit more interactive. So I already have maps for OU2 that at least show the sampling locations, because right now we don't have enough levels set for OU2, so I can't show like, oh, it's green, it's fine, it's red, it's not great. So I have sampling locations, and I just need to like hit publish. I need to review it one more time and hit publish, but that should be ready this month, and so we can talk about it in May. So at least I'll have those maps, they already exist, and we can get those out there. So just
Thank you very much.
Okay, so at the May meeting, it sounds like we'll put this on the agenda.
Yes, please, thank you.
Thank you
Yeah, I
for
was
bringing it
just gonna bring up, I know a lot of that had been sampled in the fall areas. and that kind of
I know that we've done, since I haven't like looked at the data specifically for OU2.
It was a long time ago as part of sampling,
Okay.
because that was even before I came.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna continue my updates. I know we're a little bit long on the agenda. The commercial updates for operable unit 1 are pretty short. So operable unit 1 is still like where the residential and commercial areas are. We're still sampling soil for commercial properties. Our universe for soil sampling is approximately 220 properties. We sampled 60 of them, so we're at 27%. So that's only been going on since June of last year, so we expect that to keep going for a while. Any questions on that before OU2? OU2 or operable unit 2, we've talked about a lot. That's the former smelter area. So we've talked a little bit about the sampling, and I am excited to get you guys those maps, because that's really helped me like conceptualize like, oh, this is where we have boreholes and we're collecting samples for this stuff. Here's where the air monitoring station was. Like, it's helpful for me to see, oh, we have all these places in Reunión Lake, because I am a very visual person, so I'm excited to get y'all that.
as part of the story map?
Yes,
Okay.
yep, it'll be under the operable unit 2 section. There's also a lot of other text and stuff, but I think y'all will like the maps. And then we have been working on a risk assessment that we call the SLARA, the screening level ecological risk assessment. So this is looking at animals and plants that live within an operable unit 2 area. So that report has been getting closer to being finalized for a hot minute, and we're really, really close now. So I was telling you about it again. So once we get that report finalized, we're going to be sharing it with Task, with Treat, Technical Assistance Services. They're going to review it, I would think, and then you can expect a presentation at a future CAG meeting, like letting you know, here's generally what it says, and we will be doing additional risk assessments. So this is the first one that is part of the remedial investigation.
And I think, I mean, just for folks, I think that, tell me if I'm wrong, that part of the point of having Task and Scio help do this is so Scio can both, you know, put this in lay terms and make it understandable, but also try to think about what some of the questions would be, knowing the CAG, knowing the community, et cetera.
Yeah, if you all remember, there were some other reports that happened before, and when we do a task review of the document, we review it and we sort of bring it to you all and say, here are the questions you may want to ask EPA. Right? And so we try to summarize it, present it, and also present what we think you might be interested in asking about further.
Can you include where you did the specimen samples?
I think so. I believe that
And
was.
that's very important for my, I don't know.
Yeah,
Always
you wanna
question
know.
the sampling. I mean, we don't like, I mean, like the sampling for the erosion runoff, I mean, you only tested it one day a quarter for, you know, like 4 to 6 quarters, so that's not, you don't know whether that slag is breaking down and staying there or it's moving or not, because you have to do enough sampling and testing to find that out, and we have not done that much.
So Eric, your request is that the sampling locations and timing. be
Exactly, well, I mean,
included.
if they're seeing if, what the rainbow trout did, or hopefully the catfish, the bottom dwelling stuff, if they're testing that, I mean, hopefully they test them right below that little spillway, right below the side pond, which is always fish right there. So it wouldn't be hard to have that happen, so.
Okay, great.
But yeah, whether it's carp or whatever, but yeah, wherever they took the specimen and.
Yeah.
Well, you all have met Carmen, you know Carmen, so I'm hoping Carmen will be the one who's able to talk through this.
Okay.
No, I'm good, I'm just trying to stay ahead of the
Yeah.
carp.
Yep.
And I will say on this story map that I keep teasing out, so we do have a map that shows like where we collected macroinvertebrates, aquatic vegetation, so it does exist. I just haven't seen the screening level ecological risk assessment, so I don't know if there's a map in there, but the story map does have a map with locations. So, yes, but not good yet.
On behalf of Velma, she's asking, are there stationary wells on the OUT site for sampling more often?
So there are stationary wells on the OUT site, and the frequency is still quarterly. So I don't know if y'all saw, I was deeply embarrassed that I sent out an update that said the next quarterly groundwater monitoring was gonna be this month. It's actually gonna be in June. I don't feel like anyone else noticed or cared, but I was upset that it had the wrong date. So the frequency is still quarterly monitoring. We're not planning to do additional frequency, but we are drilling 3 additional wells to kind of get at some data gaps where we wanted a little bit more information. So frequency is the same, but there will be 3 additional wells next week. Yeah, happening soon next week. Did that answer the question? I see Velma kind of nodding. Can you hear me okay? I'm trying to talk as loud as I can.
Thanks, yes, that, I'm getting you better. It's easier when you, I'm like you, I talk with my hands, but if you don't put your hands right in front of your mouth when you're talking, that helps.
Okay, I'll try not to cover my mouth, thanks, Velma. Let me see. So I think, yeah, that was my very long detailed update. Thanks y'all for the discussion on that. I think we got some good points there. But that is it from me.
Yeah. So I think the next thing we were gonna do is hear an update on the site lead level from Sydney. I'm not seeing any other questions, so I think go ahead.
Yeah, so this will be relatively quick. So we, as everyone knows, we had the guidance change or the, screening level update. So what we've done is run all of the data that we have back through a model that predicts blood levels and potential cleanup goals. That is in the process of being worked out. We do them in batches. So we're evaluating at 3 different blood levels. Once that is done, we will work with our technical assistance branch and come up with a cleanup goal. As we are getting numbers, we will be sharing them with you guys, so you have an understanding of where they're coming from, what the basis is, and all those inputs. I think maybe something that TAS could also help if you guys were really interested in like what the IDBK was, which helps spit out the numbers that we're going to be using for cleanup. That's something that I think would be a great resource. But more on, because I don't have new numbers for y'all, if and when we implement them, a question that I think as community members, we would like to know is like, once that new level, if and when it is decided, how would you think best for us to share that information, like community wide? I know we do like a lot of door-to-doors and stuff like that, and obviously we give you guys information first because you guys are here and interested and everything like that. But for a wider audience, I don't think we have to decide it today, but if y'all can start thinking about ways that you think would be good for us to be sharing this update of the site with the larger community.
Do you want quick high level input now, if anyone has?
If anyone has any like high input levels, we'll do door to door, because we always, we do those. We obviously still have tags, but anything else that you
You
guys
gotta do the local news, because the newspaper only has like probably 30%, if that, right? I mean, how many people can get the cheap?
And do you mean like the TV station?
Yeah, you have to have, like Channel 5, 13, 11, all the CBS, all the regular ones.
Yeah, electronic media, I guess that you could ask any local campaign because the first thing they do is they go to these companies to see what kind of listening is going on, and particularly cable will tell you, cable, satellite, whatever, they will tell you who the local listeners are to which channels. Interestingly, when I was running, it was the food channel, if I remember right.
Don't be led.
I don't know if that was a reflection on
I
me
knew it
or what
might
that
be.
was, so, yeah. But anyway, you can collect that information simply with a few phone calls, particularly if they know that you're interested in purchasing ads or something like that.
Okay. And I had one question for y'all. So I know I'm looking at Terry and Paul, and I did see Eric like shrug. So I'd like to record that for the public record. We had this last call like subcommittee when we were doing a lot of last call notifications, and that was helpful for me to like get together with y'all. I don't know if that's something we want to reintegrate or if we've already like talked about the ideas, but I wanted to throw that out there. We don't have to make a decision tonight, but that was helpful, and I do think it's gonna be a bigger push. We're gonna have people who have questions. We're gonna try to get more folks signed up, so for consideration.
Okay, just to get more, to have more conversations about it.
Yeah.
Alright. Before we go on, Crystal, you walked in, a little while ago, and I was gonna have you introduce yourself, because we already did introductions, and do you want to go further?
So you already said my name. My name is Crystal Archuleta, and I am here to represent Project Apollo. We provide street-based medicine. If you guys do not know what Project Apollo is, we take a group of doctors as well as active members, and my good friend Jimmy here is also an active member. We are working on our
501c3.
Yes, that is it. And so we are currently working on that, but we take a group of doctors and basically we do house calls to the unhoused. And we go down to the jungle, which is Benedict Park, and also to Fountain Creek every Sunday. And we do a house call to each person's home. And sometimes they might need medical care. We bring food, coffee, any donations that we have received throughout the week. And sometimes it's just sitting with the person and letting them know that they're not forgotten and that they do matter.
Wow, well, thank you so much. Thank you so much, I got chills, and for your work, and this has been a topic of this group. I mean, I'm the soldiers, I'm speaking on behalf of conversations that have happened a lot over the past year in terms of folks who are unhoused living in those areas and what can be done both to protect people in terms of health and also to support people and also to be able to continue to clean up all of it. So anyway, I think people have been very looking forward to having folks involved, PDP, who's been consistent in CAG meetings, but also community groups. So I think thanks for being here on behalf of the group. Thanks for that.
Yeah, and if I can add, like, because we at EPA, like, this is one of my frustration points. Like, we have run into the limits of what we're able to do with the unhoused population because, from like EPA legal perspective, they're trespassers, and so we don't have a lot of leeway that what we were able to do. So working with partners is really helpful and appreciated. So thank you. And if I can also add, I'm going to introduce Blake, who is here for EPA for our next topic.
Yeah, but Velma's hand.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No problem. Velma, let's go to you and then we can go back to that.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you. I just wanted to say I'm really glad to see Project Apollo folks represented there. As I was saying in our meeting last month, whether it's formally designated as such or not, that is a community and needs to be, the human beings that live there need to be respected and included in our planning. And and I know something of Project Apollo's work, and so I really respect it, and I'm really glad to see them represented here. I hope you come back.
Thanks, Velma. And Jimmy, did you, yeah, go ahead, Jimmy.
Oh, I would just like to say, you're right, they're trespassers, but
That's the legal, that's not my personal opinion. I just
No,
wanted to
I
clarify.
understand. But
Sorry.
a lot of the reasons, people are homeless are systemic. Meaning that the situation that's going on in Pueblo and the way the state and local government is dealing with it is A, causing homelessness, and B, not providing enough housing to house the homeless. So, I just wanted to make that clear.
I appreciate that, and I do want to clarify, like, I personally, I do not see them as trespassers, and I really appreciate the work you're doing. Like, I did not mean to come across as insensitive, and it's just, that's like what I've received from our lawyers, and we're like, hey, can we do anything else? Can we consider this a residential area? We've received no, they're trespassers, so thank you for clarifying. I absolutely agree.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, well, I was gonna introduce Blake. I hope he comes back. Blake is one of, so EPA has had some shifting around within Region 8 of our different divisions. Very exciting for y'all, you'll probably not care, but we have a new environmental justice division, the EJ division, so that means we've been hiring a lot more staff. Y'all have been seeing the EJ grants, so we have new people who are there. I really hope Blake comes back, but if he doesn't, I know Aaron, you have some stuff to talk about on grants, and we do. So I think Velma wants to see a tiny house community in the jungle, which I think is which I would love to see. That would be really cute. Sorry, I got distracted, but
Oh, you got duplexes.
I mean, honestly, yeah. So Blake hopefully will come back and talk about, but Blake is one of the leaders of the environmental justice branch. I know he's been involved for quite some time, so hopefully he'll be able to come and talk about it. But I know, not to like steal Aaron your thunder, but I know that y'all, Aaron's like, I have no thunder to steal. You have so much thunder, you got a good shout out. But I know that some of our EJ folks are gonna come down to Pueblo next week because we do have a couple employees who are specifically like assigned to Pueblo, like how Sydney and I and Honor worked on Pueblo, or like Colorado Smelter, they are assigned to the Pueblo geographic area, and so they're going to be trying to figure out how to do work in the Pueblo area outside of just the Superfund site. So I know that that's something that they're planning and they're working on, and I think they want to have some more like community sessions with people and invite y'all, but it won't like, because the CAG is supposed to be the forum for Superfund, and you hear me saying that all the time, even though we know there are other things going on. So I think that's in the works. So I don't know a ton about it. I was really hoping Blake would come back while I was talking, but he didn't.
What's Blake's last name?
Huff, Huff.
Okay.
Yeah. So
what?
oh no, I didn't know it was Velma. Oh, there he is. Okay, he's back. Thanks.
So Velma, Beth was talking about Blake, who is about to jump back on the call and is representing EJ's or EPA's new EJ division. Yeah, environmental justice division. Blake, are you able to hear us? Because we would love.
Yeah, I can, but if you talk fast, it gets hard to understand. Blake, it represents who?
EPA's Environmental Justice Division, and he's
Okay.
just joining us, and we're going to turn to him for an introduction and to tell us a little bit about the new EJ division. And Blake, we saw you for a minute on video, and then you went off.
Yes, my internet's in and out, so I'm going to go off, but I will go on really quickly so you can see me, and then we'll try and save some bandwidth. So I am here. I'm Blake. I'm calling in from Denver this evening, and I'm pinch hitting for David Dorian, I think, who's supposed to be on the call. He may join us momentarily, but I'll turn that off. I'm in the Environmental Justice Program, and we're happy to be here tonight to talk about some of our grants. So I can talk about a few of our grants, and if David joins us, he can jump in on the rest. Is that my understanding of what you're looking for this evening?
Yeah, I think that sounds good, Blake. I just shared that we have the new EJ division that that Jennifer has been arranging a meeting next week with some folks down here in Pueblo. Ryan, what did you want to add?
Yeah, I think Blake, just so you know, there, I think since EPA announced its environmental justice grants, this CAG has been talking about them because there are a number of community folks in this group that have tentacles throughout the community and are really, really interested in seeing funds come to Pueblo. And there's been quite a bit of discussion about the frustration and challenge of the fact that the grants are so big and they have to be spent in such a small relative amount of time that it requires a huge amount of capacity to apply for and implement these grants that a lot of folks in Pueblo don't have, and that even there have been some efforts to form coalitions, and it's challenging for some of those reasons. So then Casey Becker, this earlier in the meeting, was here and talked a little bit about the community change maker, or the change maker grant, as opposed to the community change grants, and thought that might even be a better fit in some cases. So that's a little bit of context that we
So why don't can I share my screen? Will that work?
We can give you access in about 2 seconds.
Okay. Because I think to address those issues specifically, I can talk about two options.
You should have access now, Blake.
Try screen sharing, see if it works.
Let me know if you can see my screen.
We can see your screen. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So I can't see you now. So speak up if you have a question or need to raise your hand. But I can talk about a couple things, and then I can open it up some questions and we can see where we need to go. So to address that issue of some of these grants are really big or technical or tough to apply, or if you're a nonprofit, how do we access some of these funds? We have something called Tic Tacs, and I don't know if any of you have heard of those. They're called Thriving.
Earlier tonight, Blake, sorry to interject. I just wanted to let you all know she did mention this tonight, but if you could share more detail, I think that would be helpful.
Sure. And I'm glad she mentioned this, because this is exactly what the Tic Tacs are for. So we have 2 of them right now, and we'll have one specific to Region 8 in the next few months. But these are specific for to provide technical assistance. If you have an environmental question or problem, you could contact one of these Tic Tacs, and they can see if there's grant resources out there through EPA that would fit that problem, and then they can help you navigate the federal application system. They can help you compete for them. They won't apply for you, but they can help you write strong proposals. And if you're awarded, they can help you effectively manage the grant with some of the, it can get very difficult with managing funds. So they can help you on that front. So if you're a tribal community, you can go through the National Indian Health Board. If you're a community group or a local government, there's the International City County Management Association, or ICMA. Those are the 2 organizations right now that are managing Tic Tacs in Region 8, which includes Colorado and Pueblo, obviously. So I kind of want to leave it there for Tic Tacs. Are there any questions about that?
I guess, Blake, I think this is an easy question. Could we have the slide and we can share it with the meeting summary?
Yeah, it's taken a long time to get any information back. It seems like there's a backup of people in that queue already.
Okay.
Yeah, because I know the city's already applied for it, and they told to kind of hold off and wait. So that really narrows down the time that we can put together a proposal.
Okay.
They were told by the Tic Tac people? Oh, I don't know.
And I wonder if that, Casey was saying earlier that they still need like a week or 2 to get up to speed, and so maybe they've just been putting everyone on hold, I wonder, and so.
That could be if they're waiting for it. Like, Casey did mention that they're going to be assigning it to specific like regional people, and this ICMA is like an interim thing. So I don't know specifically, but like maybe that's something we can follow up and provide more information as we have it.
Totally. I can totally look into that. And that's good to know if there's a holdup. And there is some transition going on. So I don't know if they're putting everyone in a queue, and then once they get the thumbs up, they can respond to everyone. But I can ask David about that and see what he knows.
Okay.
So I think, go ahead.
No, that would be great. If you could follow up somehow with Beth, then we'll get them info out.
Okay. So I'll mention a couple other opportunities.
We might have one other question, Blake. I know you can't see us, but I think we have one
Sure.
more question.
Sorry, Blake, we're gonna interrupt you.
That's all right.
No, we have a question. Go ahead, Eric.
It's not really a question, I just, unfortunately, this, from what we've heard tonight and in the past, this is kind of a broken process. Like, you have a very, it's not even, the Tic Tac people aren't prepared to even do the stuff yet. There's such a limited amount of time to go and get the grants. And then all the grant money that's not spent is gonna go back into the coffers. It seems like it's not, it's like broken from the get-go, and I guess we need mainly the city of Pueblo Health Department needs if you could elevate them to the top of this thing, that would probably be the best thing, because they're the only ones in this entire city right now that have even a chance or an iota of a chance to go ahead and get one of these grants. And these grants were basically put together for cities exactly like ours. So it's kind of a shame that this process is so hard to navigate. Especially for if most of the cities like ours don't have the money to go and have a technical team and all this stuff. And if you're Denver or a big city or something, but it's kind of our littler cities that have taken the brunt of it over the years environmentally. And so I'd imagine it's not just us, but it's most people in the Region 8.
I think that is correct. And that the system's not the best, but like the Tic Tac is to help navigate that a bit, the application process, because can be cumbersome. So hopefully that gets resolved fairly quickly. But I can follow up and see where they are with Pueblo for sure.
That would be great. And Velma has a question.
I think, was it Paul first and then Velma?
Oh, apologies. Go ahead.
That's okay. I was just gonna remark that I think Eric was right about that, and that I appreciate what Aaron had to say to us about
Paul, I'm gonna ask you to talk with the Alan, talk
his
really loud, I'm
efforts
sorry.
to make this work. I think that obviously the short time frame and weeks until Tic Tac is even up and running to help anybody, and the having to spend the money within a short time frame as well. And if I'm not mistaken, Aaron, did you say something about receiving a large grant and having trouble finding someone in the city to administer the grant? Yeah, that's part of this communities change grant. That's the one we're talking about. The 10 million is the bottom, the base, and it's up to $20 million. Yeah. And you have to have a community-based organization to work with, and it has to fall under environmental justice, which there's different criteria of the projects that you can administer. And so it has to fall within all of that boundary. So the scope of what you want to do gets narrowed down to a funnel really fast. Yeah. Well, it seems like that, without the assistance of the city at large and the health department in particular, we're just kind of dead in the water. Because just as an individual community support, we're reliant on the municipality and the agencies within the city to assist us, and they're not doing that. I mean, the health department has been fantastic. They're really the only agency in the whole city that's been an advocate for this whole project. And, without you guys, we would have nothing. So I still think you're the best leadership that we've had. Unfortunately, we're maxed out with our capacity of what we can do. And, there's just, the leadership with I'm the low man on the totem pole. I'm like way down here. And it would have to be into our leadership, our director level to really push this through. And in terms of capacity, we're just maxed out. We can't handle that kind of project. That's why we want to partner with the city to do that. Right?
And the city, their projects are not environmental justice projects. So we're on two opposite ends of the spectrum when it comes to that. Theirs are more infrastructure focused, not anything to do with environmental health or.
And that impacts this committee significantly. It does.
Yeah. We're also frustrated.
I think think it was Velma, Terry, and then.
Yeah, and I just would like to follow up on Eric's remarks and reinforce what Aaron is describing. I mean, the organization that I volunteer with, Mothers Out Front, is an environmental and climate justice organization nationwide, but my group is based in the community. And we have experience in working with the health department and with Aaron in the local health department to apply for one of the early on environmental justice grants. And even with technical assistance from the state health department, which was excellent, we got to a point where by the time we got the grant written up, we realized that the capacity of the health department, even though we were applying for funding to pay for a person in the health department to do this function, it was a clean air grant, environmental justice air monitoring grant. The local health department's capacity to even recruit and manage a new person was going to, even though that person was going to be paid for by the grant, money isn't necessarily everything. And the lesson that I think Aaron and I know our organization learned from that we talk about in sessions when we're discussing how agencies can work with environmental justice or disproportionately impacted communities. And TICTAC is a start on that, but the timing is a little bit of a problem. But is to realize that environmental justice and disproportionately impacted communities often don't even have the resources to take advantage of resources when they're offered. That in fact, agencies sort of, and I'm glad about it. This comes off sounding sarcastic when I say it, but I'm glad that agencies and the administration sort of discovered environmental justice as an area that needed a lot of attention. But it means that often that there are extra demands being put on activists and local agencies and professionals in environmental justice communities over and above our usual activities, from having to try and respond to these opportunities that we sure don't want to see our community miss out on.
Yeah. Well said, Vilma. Thank you. And I see Terry's, you're getting applause. I see Terry's hand and Jimmy's hand.
Yeah, one question that just goes past my mind, but I don't even know if it's relevant towards what we're talking about is who has set the parameters of the time frame and the size of the grants and everything else? Was that EPA? Was that something federal legislation with IJAA? I didn't know where, or IIJA, I think it is. But anyway, I didn't know where it was. That would help us understand, if there's any flexibility. But this is actually getting back to the question that I thrown out a little bit earlier that I'm kind of anxious about. I don't see anything wrong with the city going after what they think that they might need, and I don't see anything wrong with the county going after what they might need. What I'm worried about is we ought to have all of the above, including the environmental projects, and then that could then be decided on what we go after. And I don't know if, say we put an environmental issue out, that then bumps off one of the infrastructure projects. And if so, then it's going to have to be a policy decision. It's going to have to be a policy decision between the city, the county, and frankly, with the assistance of the city county health department. It's kind of what Aaron was talking about at the end of the last meeting. How do we do that? And frankly, I'm happy to help sit down with Aaron and anybody else that says, how do we try to focus this within our community. I'm happy to do it. We have a lot of new folks in both the city and the county in office now who don't know these systems, but their staffs do. And so there are ways where we can say, hey, don't walk away from these types of projects. And knowing that you can't just say, well, health department should do it, because health department does not have the capacity to do a lift this size. Health department can help us identify what we need, but not actually carry it out. We need the assistance of a larger organization like city, county, or a coordinated effort by the city and county. But just a thought.
Well, and Terry and Aaron, I just saw a note from Velma on the chat that she's happy to be a part of if there's a group that is with you and PDPHE and anyone who's interested in Region 8, you know, maybe Blake or someone from the EJ group and folks from the city to do more brainstorming. That could be something that comes out of this discussion. I don't know, Blake, if that's something that your office can help support. But I know that you all need to be careful about not, right? You have certain scope that you have to stay with.
Right. So we're more than happy to meet and share the opportunities and answer some of those questions about, you know, why the time frame or amounts of money. But right, we can't. The TICTAC would have to be the ones to help you, like write a proposal or something like that. But we can share all the information and meet with you if you want.
Do you have, I mean, I'm going to ask a question and I'm just wondering, Blake, you're thinking about this on a regional level, you're talking to different groups. Do you have any advice or counsel for, given the challenges that you've been hearing about and that there are, you know, a lot of potential actors in Pueblo who are both overextended, do not want to see this funding opportunity pass by, want to see the funds from the Pueblo, don't have resources, but also have a lot of differing and, you know, diverse needs and interests, some of which align and some maybe don't align so well. So there's some sort of facilitation and collaboration that needs to happen. Do you have any suggestions, knowing that the TICTAC so far, I mean, isn't quite ready? Can they help with that kind of facilitation and collaboration as well? That's my question.
Can the TICTAC help with that? Is that the question?
Yes.
Yeah, and yes, they can. And I would say you've already taken the first step of getting in the queue, it sounds like, with the TICTAC. So once they're ready to go, they can move quickly. Like, that's the important thing. And my understanding is, like, so the city can apply, but a community group can apply as well. So you can have multiple groups in the queue to work on a project from multiple angles. So I think that's the important first step, and they can help coordinate after you're in that queue.
And I will, so just since I am not EJ, I'll just speak from my perspective, but I know Jennifer and Blake, obviously, and I'll relay what y'all shared, Terry and Donna, you're eager to participate in this conversation. But I know that there is that conversation with Jennifer, so I recognize that it's not a super fun issue, but it is directly related. And I just wanted to highlight that, like, Donna, Eric, Paul, Terry, like, I hear you, and I know that is something that I'm going to speak like with my government hat on, like, as a government agency, that's something that we struggle with, to, like, get funding out equitably, fairly, timely. Like, that is something that I have seen the government struggle with for a long time. I know that TICTAC I think it's a good step, I think it's a good effort, and that doesn't mean that it's, like, solved everything. So I just want to say, like, I agree with you, I think you're right, and I'm excited to see what this EJ branch is going to do, since we do have people dedicated to Pueblo. So I know there are limits to what the staff can do and what they can't do, but we'll continue to, like, keep passing notes back and forth between Superfund and EJ, since y'all are really involved. So just wanted to say to you, and we'll keep trying to keep those lines of communication open.
Yeah, Jimmy.
Yeah, I'm not a can't do kind of person. I think we absolutely can pull this off.
I love your energy. Can you come to TICTAC forever?
Yeah. There are a multitude of agencies here in Pueblo that I think could get together Environment, the EPA, I'm thinking maybe CSUP and PCC, two of our colleges here in Pueblo. Health Solutions, who is brand new to Pueblo and has raised a ton of money to handle the mental health situation here in Pueblo, and also physical health. A lot of people don't realize that, but they do refer people to physicians. And I think there's some people on the city council that could be monumental here. I know there's at least one person on the county commission who would be glad to join us. I think there's a path forward. It's obviously not going to be easy, but I'm a can-do kind of person.
Yes, you are needed.
Yes.
So one of the questions that I have for y'all is kind of on like, how do we continue these conversations, like recognizing that it's in my perspective, like parallel to Superfund, because we know there are like, although it's burdened with a lot of contamination, I would say, I don't feel like that's an incorrect statement. So how can we like continue these conversations? Like, it sounds like the meeting with Jennifer is one venue for that. Do we want to like pass information to the EJ group and kind of continue to like, or do we like, I'm hesitant to have a place on the CAG agenda to talk about grants in depth every month, but I don't know if that's like, to me, that seems like a side conversation more so. Is that something that feels appropriate? So I just wanted to like toss that out there. If we don't have a solution tonight, that's fine, but I know it's important and I know it's pressing, and trying to figure out how to have that conversation. Any thoughts or immediate?
No, I don't, if we don't get a grant out of this whole deal, I kind of feel like we wasted our entire monthly, our quarterly meeting, that we've never get to see each other in person. We're a lot more functional here than doing a Zoom meeting. So, I mean, I would rather discuss sampling and results of what results you've gotten that we keep getting promised and so forth. Because going over those on a Zoom meeting is going to be ridiculous. So we need to do that in person. So, I mean, we've been promised results for the last couple of years. I'd rather focus on the task at hand.
So for you, the priority is.
Well, I mean, just in this case, I don't see it as kind of, I mean, we've talked grants in the past, and it just seems like we're going backwards, so I don't know. I mean, I hope this all works, and I hope we get somewhere with this, and I hope that this elevates the county, you know, and you guys be able to get it. But as far as like what we're trying to talk about here, it's the problem we have at hand, it's the side pile and cleaning it up and so forth.
Any other comments on that before we keep going? So I think what we were going to do now is, in the last little bit here, is we had a couple announcements that we wanted to hear about. One is that you already touched on the fact that EPA has done some updating of the new city council and county commissioners. And so we talked about it last or maybe in February meeting, that it'd be helpful to let the community members know, so that you all, community members, can know who's been briefed on what, and you can follow up with city council members and county commissioners as useful. And then also, I think we wanted to hear about the Brooklyn Town Foundation meeting.
Yeah, so I had two other updates to share in this little announcement section. So the future use work session, just to highlight that we did get that from CEO after that planning session. I was online, even though my name was not on the list. I want everyone to know I was listening. So that's out there. So y'all have that and you can process that. So that's been shared. And then the Bojan Town Foundation meeting, I know Amanda and Charles attended in February. The group is working on plans for Benedict Park. They're looking at doing additional lighting at the park and potentially constructing a wall to block off trespassers going in and out of the former smelter area. So that's something that they're working on that's kind of separate from Superfund. But if they are doing construction in Benedict Park, since it is part of the Superfund site, we want to be involved. We want to advise where they should be cautious, where they shouldn't be. So Benedict Park did not need to clean up under the current lead and arsenic levels, or the current lead soil level. But if changes, it could affect parks because we're currently looking at impacts to children that might be playing in those areas. So Benedict Park may qualify for cleanup in the future. So lots of like hypotheticals, but just wanted to let y'all know that that's something that's being considered, and we are going to be a resource to the Bow Downtown Foundation to make sure we're coordinating before they're like digging up any soil, since it is a Superfund site.
And Benedict Park was very dirty, just to throw that. Extremely,
You mean contamination wise?
yeah, it was bad.
Do you have any specifics?
Yeah, it-
I mean, like the lead levels or?
Well, it's sitting on top of the slag pile, so, I mean, stuff, they did clean up the playground areas. Luckily, they went in and they realized that the playground areas were really, so they went in and immediately took out, like, all the pea gravel or whatever it is, and went back in with rubber rock or whatever's there now. But yeah, I mean, at least they did dig down like almost 2-3 feet on that to kind of clean up the players. But I mean, the concern's probably around where they play baseball and stuff. Because oftentimes that doesn't have grass on it, and especially on a dry year or something where we're not getting water. And all that soil was just as contaminated, if not worse so, than a lot of the residences that they cleaned up. So what's to keep that soil from blowing off of there when the grass isn't growing and green? So, not to mention kids are sliding in it and coming home with all of the clothes. And, I mean, it's a baseball field, that's what they're for.
So they went down 36 inches and replaced the soil?
Just in the play areas, like, you know how the play areas have their own little.
Right.
The swing set, yeah, they went inside of those and they cleaned it up. It might have been at least it was deeper than normal. But yeah, I mean, either way, it's cleaner than it was.
Yeah, that was done back in 2017.
Yeah, that was a
Yeah.
That's helpful.
Any other comments, questions about the Bow Downtown piece? And you had another announcement, I think, right? Did you say? Did you want to talk about the updates to the city and county?
We
Just that it
talked to
happened.
the city and county, and just the main thing was that the city council may put someone on the CAG to participate regularly, so that hasn't like come through yet, but we were excited to hear that, because I know we've talked, and I've heard from y'all that we'd love to see more involvement from the city. I feel like it'd be great to have them on here. I think we're going to put them on the mailing list, so they're now on the mailing list so that they will get the regular CAG updates, so that at least they're hearing about it, and Mayor Graham is also on that list, so we're sharing information with them. We're hoping to have a little bit more participation, but we'll see where that goes. They were receptive and seemed to appreciate the work that's going on the Superfund site. Didn't have a ton of questions at the time, or like they just asked some good questions about what was going on, but nothing like that was too surprising to me. But I think that is pretty much.
And my one question for you all, community members, I know this has been a big topic in the last 6 months, especially about getting more engagement from the city and leadership. And I just wonder if you have any, knowing that the new, if there's some interest in having participation, is there any follow-up that you can discuss from you all?
Well, it seems to me that Terry's suggestion that he assist in forming some sort of perhaps intergovernmental agency under the interest that might support our efforts.
I agree. I mean, the way this project got started is we had, to borrow a term, we had a champion. We had a champion on the county side, we had a champion on the city side. They joined together and then worked with Sierra Club and other folks in order to basically say, this is a problem. What are you going to do about it? Literally teed it up. And we had some reluctance, frankly, from our local governments. And so those folks then caused a very specific public meeting on this very topic and said, here's the problem. Here's the medical group and everybody else saying why this is a huge health issue. And so what are you going to do about it? They all agreed, let's do something. So then that was when the letter was written to say, please designate this a Superfund site. That is what is missing today. And it isn't because the individuals in the city and the county aren't good-hearted people and they care about these issues. It's just it has not reached their radar screen yet. So we need to figure out how to get that champion at the county level, how to get that champion at the city level, and get them back at the table, and they can then give us the guidance that we're talking about here that Aaron frankly needs in order to say how we can move this thing forward. But we need to give them the idea. They know a lot of things, they may not know this, so.
Thank you. Thanks for covering that. That was basically my question on this. How do we do this? I mean, you've been in the county commissioner seat for a while, and just working with so many personalities and challenging, everybody's ideas. It's just how do you champion that? How do you get that person to bring it up and make it important for both sides? Is it just a repetitive thing? Just beating down the door?
It is. Well, usually what it is you got to pick the personality you think is most likely to pick up on it, and then everybody say, well, is that in that particular person's district? Who cares? If it's for the community, a district is not relevant. If that person from the district is the right person, that's great. Doesn't have to be. But you need that personality, someone who is driven by these kind of issues that says, yeah, that's something I want to do. I see a need. And that's what we need to figure out, Aaron, is who is that? We all have our ideas today, and I think Jimmy was suggesting somebody over on the county side, and I probably would agree with Jimmy on that. But we need to identify that and then see if we can get them on board to not just say, sure, that's a great idea, but to actually carry the ball.
I think that's where I've missed the boat. I think I'm just presenting it and not to the right person at the right time. And that's probably what's happening, because now I'm dealing in planning and zoning, and it needs to be at the city council level.
Yeah, and that's the way it works.
Okay.
Velma is wanting to chime in on this conversation, I think. Velma.
Thanks. Well, I guess I feel a little bit awkward because I'm not, somehow I missed for what purpose you would be talking about forming a coalition or an intergovernmental group. But if it's to apply for these grants or to have some kind of a centralized grant coordinating function for the region, that seems like a good idea. But there, as Terry was describing, there were a couple of those big meetings, and they were not non-controversial, to use a double negative. And people that did end up agreeing to have that letter written did so for different reasons. But whatever the reason was, the letter ended up being written. But it really was a lot of public pressure that from some, as Terry was describing, some key people, and it was on a fairly specific topic, and so we were able to bring the literature, the information about lead risk and things like that, that made for good headlines and also were true. I mean, it demonstrated an actual need. And so, but it wasn't, as Terry's pointing out, it wasn't easy. And I think, from the standpoint of working with the local health department, I mean, I hear what Aaron is saying maybe a little differently from what some other folks hear, but when a person from an agency is saying that the decisions about the priorities for the overall agency aren't necessarily up to that person, that's not a criticism either of the agency or of the person who might be in the position like Aaron's in. What it's saying is that, for instance, the health department deals with the Board of Health. There's an executive director. They need to come to understand for instance, why we feel the public health aspects and environmental protection aspects of this are certain things are important in order to send that message and give that support downstream in the organization. And so that's just kind of the thought that, you know, we keep talking about, well, we need to work with the health department. We need the health department to do this and that. And I hear Aaron saying, I'd love to, but I'm not the one who makes those decisions in the organization. And I think we need to recognize that and respect it and maybe consider, if we're thinking about something like this seriously, going to the Board of Health with a presentation or going to Randy Yvette's with a presentation. So that's all I have to say.
Yeah, I think, Velma, it wasn't that folks were necessarily talking about forming a new coalition or agency or anything. It was just next steps to figure out how to inject some leadership and coordination and elevate what's being talked about here. So I think it was more strategy. But I think point well taken.
For what purpose, though?
Yeah.
So I can go over that real quick. So environmental justice is going to get real important in Pueblo real soon. I mean, it already is. We are the most environmentally burdened community in Colorado. If you look at Colorado EnviroStream, Pueblo County is the most heavily burdened of all counties in Colorado. We're getting ready to have a new project that they're looking at putting in Colorado as well for carbon capture. They want to drill deep well holes in Pueblo County and inject carbon in there and store it. So it is an important situation. To get that carbon here, we're going to have pipelines all through Pueblo and from different parts of the state. And so environmental justice is definitely going to be a big thing. It already is, but it's going to get much larger. And so I think it would be good to be thinking about this, because if we had some plans, you know, that were plug and play, that these big projects that could take place when money comes around, we wouldn't be in this position that we're in now, where we're trying to scramble and come up with some kind of plan to, you know, spend some federal money when we can actually make good use of it. So that's all I wanted to say on that.
Well, it sounds like there are likely to be some discussions involving many of you in following this conversation. And I think Beth's comment duly noted in terms of, this and Eric's, that the CAG isn't necessarily going to continue to be focused on grants for the community. On the other hand, there is a nexus with the Superfund site, and I think recognizing that. But as in upcoming meetings, I think we're going to start pivoting to the data summary is going to be ready. We're going to see the ecological risk assessment. There are going to be some technical things on the Superfund site that are going to take up more of the CAG time. But I think in the meantime, hopefully these conversations are helping to mobilize things up at the CAG that will help and will touch on the Superfund site. So I think just continue to keep us updated and use this
I say
forum.
we give Aaron all the money and authority.
Well, obviously. Obviously. But don't make him have to administer it.
I'm so cheap, I'd be out there with a shovel myself.
I'll be with you.
All right, well, I think we're nearing the end here. I believe we've covered the topics on the agenda. I think, folks we do need to be out of here pretty quickly after 7:30, but if folks want to use the last, 5-6 minutes to just touch base with each other, I know we talked about some follow-up topics, please feel free to do that. And then folks online, it's good to see you all. Aaron for King, the comments, Boba has got, and Leah, thanks for joining us. Well, thanks, we'll see each other soon.
If I could get something done.
All right.
But I haven't. And nothing.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You get blown away. Right in the- I saw the photo.
It's like having an army.